Welcome to Special Guest Thursdays, where real voices bring real stories to life. This ain't just an interview. This is a spotlight on those making moves. Different paths, different struggles, different wins. But one thing in common, they showed up and leveled up. We're sitting down with leaders, creators, and game changers to talk pressure, purpose, and the mindset behind the grind. No scripts, no filters, just real. Because every guest brings gems, and every story brings power. This is the Final Boss Podcast, and this is Special Guest Thursdays. Tap in and tune up.
Welcome to the Final Boss Podcast. Welcome to the Final Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Turbo the CEO, better known as the Final Boss, right? Listen, I got a great show for you tonight. You know, the nights that we don't have a special guest. So the special guest that I did have lined up, there was a miscommunication on my part, right? And I'm moving too fast sometimes. Dr. Elizabeth Adams is not going to be on tonight. She'll be on next month, right? Next month. So, but that was taken care of. We were able to fix that. It was a small scheduling issue, and I was able to take care of it. And that was definitely on. That was my bad. So, Doc, thank you for the recognition. I appreciate you. Thank you for also making me aware, right? So I appreciate that part too, man. Just moving too fast. Sometimes it happens, right? They don't call me Turbo for nothing. So tonight we got a great show for you. Before we get into tonight's show, look, if you haven't, go pick up All Aboard the Fired Up Train. Go Time, All Aboard the Fired Up Train. Go pick it up. It's the first book in the series of 3 of the Go Time series, right? The Go Time frameworks, talking about discipline, talking about the 6 pillars of success, talking about the understanding your why, discovering your why. Oh man, it's a plethora of information in there. You guys need to go get Go Time, All Aboard the Fired Up Train. The link is below, right? The link is below. Make sure you go pick that up, man. If you haven't, that's the first book of the series. The second book comes out next month, right? The second book comes out next month. So be on the lookout for it, right? Next up, right? If you haven't seen all of our episodes, go check out all our episodes on our website, man. Our website is www.thefinalbosspodcast.com. That's www.thefinalbosspodcast.com. Go pick up and watch all of our episodes, right? And if you want to be a part of the future town halls, make sure you send us an email at info@thefinalbosspodcast.com, info@thefinalbosspodcast.com, so you can be a part of the town hall, like tonight's town hall, right? We got a town hall. Man, I love the town halls, man. We have an 11-seat panel, right? And we're going to go through their questions and their concerns, man, and we're going to get right into it very shortly. Very, very soon, very, very shortly, we're going to get into it. But, you know, I hope everyone else out there is doing well and fantastic, right? In spite of all the things, soccer fans in the building. If you're a soccer fan, drop a soccer ball emoji in the chat for us, right? So, got that out the way. Now, let's get into tonight's show. As your goal to grow beyond your current audience, I can help you. Okay, thank you, man. I appreciate you. How about you just make it happen, right? Just make it happen, bro. Yeah, Jahad, go ahead and make it happen, man. I appreciate you. Look, and send me the invoice, right? Go ahead and make it happen. So, tonight, special guest Thursday. This is season 4, arc 4, the construction, episode number 267, town hall edition. This is our third town hall. The town halls have become so successful that we're going to continue the town halls, man, whenever we can. And we're getting a lot of emails. We're getting a lot of questions that are coming through, man. People are dropping their information. And look, we appreciate it. We appreciate it here. So keep them coming. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. All right. Look, season 5 is around the corner. Season 5, The Harvest, starts at episode number 300. And season arc 5, I'm sorry, season 4, arc 5, The Declaration, starts next week. Arc 5, The Declaration, starts next week. The Declaration is going to send us off into The Harvest, season 5, episode 300, right? We got a lot of big changes coming, man. We have a lot of big changes that are coming, that are over the horizon. I'm super excited about them, man. And, you know, we are here. We are here. A lot of the different shows. So we have 5 shows a week. 3 of the shows, their names are going to be changing. The names and the format will be changing, right? We got some big things that are coming. Stay tuned for those things, man. Got books that are dropping, man. I start the doctor's program in the fall, which is in a month. Can you believe it? It's happening in a month. Oh my God. It's crazy. So we got those admin notes out the way. And now let's get into tonight's show, because guess what? The chair doesn't lie. The chair does not lie. The chair does not lie, right? We got 11 confessions, 11 verdicts, and we got one room, right? One room. So let's get into it. Look, ask yourself this. What happens when 11 people confess the thing they've been carrying in silence, and one room that gives them the verdict they stop asking for, right? Well, tonight, you're going to find out, right? And if you're new here, welcome. You landed on the place that you're supposed to be. So welcome and be a part. Welcome to the Final Boss podcast, right? And you know it. I'm your host, the one, the only, the Final Boss, right? And sometimes hey Chikandi, sometimes I'm referred to as Turbo the CEO, right? Sometimes, but tonight is not a regular night. It's not a regular Thursday, right? Because tonight is another town hall. This is the third town hall. We got 11 chairs, 11 confessions, 11 verdicts in one room, right? And every single person in this audience is sitting in one of them, whether they know it or not. Before I open the floor, I need to ask you something. Right? And here it is. And I need you to answer this in the back of your mind, and I will resolve it before the end of the show, right? So sit with it, right? And the question is this: what is the thing you confess to someone else that you've never said out loud about yourself? Hold it. Sit with it, right? Because the chair is going to find out. And now, before we get into it, we got a cost confession, right? Because every town hall episode costs this show real production resources. I want to be transparent about what it takes to hold 11 chairs in 60 minutes at the level the Final Boss community demands, right? The production side of a town hall, including research, segment architecture, community chair sourcing, and live execution, runs approximately anywhere between $1,200 to $1,800 per build, right? We're talking about tools and operational costs. We're talking about the number does not include what it costs me personally in bandwidth to hold space for 11 people in a single night. But I do it because you guys deserve it, right? And the cost confession has been confirmed, right? Raise your hand if you're in agreement, right? The number is $1,200 to $1,800, right? I am the Final Boss, and this is what this show actually costs. Now, Season 4, Arc 4, the construction begins right here, right now. And listen, this arc is not about inspiration. Don't get it twisted. It's not about inspiration. This arc is about building an actual structure while the noise is loudest around you. Arc 1 was the ignition. Arc 2 was the clearing. Arc 3 was the foundation. You are the construction, right? Now, get your hammers out. Get your blueprints in hand, because the weather is incoming. A new El Nino is on its way, right? And we're going to get into it, man. We're going to get into it, right? Because the town hall is the construction in its purest form. And we do not build in isolation. We build in community. And that is what tonight is actually all about, right? 11 cheers were submitted. 11 confessions were received. 11 verdicts will be delivered. And here's how it works, right? For those who are new. I see some new faces in here, right? Here's how it works. Every chair is a person. Every person submitted is a real confession, not a question, a confession. The kind you say at a 9 p.m. on a weekday when the session ended on the interview collapsed, or the mirror is the only thing left in the room, right? Look, yes, I do not handle confessions with comfort. I handle them with precision. And I'm going to tell you exactly what is actually wrong, what the system under the system is, and what the move is tonight, right? We're going to give you the uncomfortable verdict, and we're going to do it in a few moments, right? Because the reason you cannot solve the problem is because you're calling it by the wrong name. Tonight, we're going to rename it. The open loop is resolved. The thing you confess to someone else that you've never said out loud about yourself is exactly what the chair will call tonight. One of these 11 chairs is yours. Look, grab your notebooks, grab your pens, grab your paper, grab your phones. It is time to get into session, right? We got 11 chairs, and let's begin. But before we do that, the official brass tacks, right? Because, and the brass tacks is coming from yours truly, right? It's coming from yours truly. So here it is, brass tacks. The system does not fall or fail you on accident. It fails you by design. The question is whether you are willing to stop asking it for permission to survive. That's our brass tacks of the evening, right? Smarts, final bosses, motivators, warriors, it is time to lock in, right? So it is time to lock in. 4 businesses, 8 years. Every one of them collapsed at the exact same moment in the build. Marcus doesn't know why yet, but you might, right? So Marcus is in the first chair. Marcus, we're going to call him Marcus T, right? He's 41 years old, serial entrepreneur, 4 business attempts in 8 years, currently rebuilding from his most recent closure, right? Submitted his confession on Wednesday at 11:47 p.m. after closing the books on attempt number 4, right? Marcus's confession is this. He said, I keep starting over. Every time I get close, something collapses. Am I broken or is the system broken? And does it matter? Well, Marcus, my guy, I'm here to tell you. Marcus, that question at the end is the whole entire answer, right? And you already know. And here's your verdict. Listen, brother. You aren't broken. You are, for all intents and purposes, are unfinished. And there's a difference. Broken things stop. Unfinished things restart. The restart is not the failure. The restart without changing the blueprint is. When the show is over, I need you to go back on YouTube and screenshot that, right? And this one is for every builder who has restarted more than once and still cannot name the pattern. Now, let me break that down for you, right? Because Marcus, my brother, listen, 4 attempts in 8 years is not a failure record. It's a research record. The question is whether you extracted the data from each collapse before moving to the next build. That's the question. Most serial entrepreneurs do not extract the data. They survive the collapse, recover emotionally, build hope on top of the grief, and start again with the same underlying architecture, right? The business model changes, my man. The name changes. The structural problem stays the same, right? And before you attempt number 5, you audit the 4 collapses, not emotionally, but structurally, right? Write the point of failure for each one. Be very, very, very specific. Not my cash ran out, right? Because cash running out is the system, or the symptom, I should say. What decision caused the cash to run out? Name the actual structural failure point for each collapse, right? And when you have done the audit, look for the pattern. There is one. There is always one, right? The pattern lives in the decision architecture you default to under pressure. That's where you're comfortable, right? When the heat comes, what do you reach for? Most builders reach for the same tool every single time. They have their favorite hammer and they start hammering away. Same tool, same result, right? The arc for build move is this, Marcus. Listen, you hire a structural advisor before the fifth launch, not a cheerleader, an advisor who stress tests the decision architecture before you spend another dollar. Someone who has seen collapses at your stage and has named the pattern in other builders, right? That's what I need you to do. Then you build a structural contingency into the launch from day one, not a backup plan, a structural contingency. What changes at month 3 if the primary revenue assumption is wrong? You build those answers before you ever open the doors, right? You're not broken, Marcus. You are one architectural audit away from a build that holds, right? Or attempts paid the tuition, my man. Use the education and change the blueprint, right? Change the blueprint. So, brass tacks. We talked about 4 failures. And 4 failures, 4 failures is not a losing record. It is a doctorate in what does not work. The problem is you have not written a dissertation yet. So get to writing. Get to writing, my man. Get to writing, right? And for those who are new here, thank you for joining us, right? Rhea Edis, I see you. Diego, Celebos. I think that's what it is. Yeah. Thanks, man. I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining us, right? Another self-righteous. Oh, yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, man. This is the space for it, bro. Thank you for joining us, right? Now, this next person in the chair. Next person in the chair, right? She left the 6-figure salary. She started building. Her family was not said one thing supportive to her in 14 months. The dinner that she had last Sunday ended in silence. Who is actually in the wrong seat, right? Chair number 2 is Denise W., we're going to call her. She's 38 years old. She's a former corporate HR director. Left her 6-figure position 14 months ago to build her consulting practice. She submitted Sunday night after a family dinner that ended with nobody speaking, right? And here's Denise's confession. Right? She says, I did the brave thing. I left. I am building. My family thinks I have lost my mind, and every conversation feels like a trial I did not ask to be in. How do I hold the build when the people closest to me are the loudest opposition, right? Denise, the dinner that ended in silence told me everything I needed to know about what room you're actually fighting in, right? And here's your verdict. The people who watched you play it safe cannot hold the space for you to play it real. And that's not a character flaw in them. That is a front row seat problem, right? You need to move them out of the front seat. Put them in a balcony, right? Put them on a balcony, right? Now, at the end of the show, when it comes to your segment, I need you to go back on YouTube and I need you to screenshot these moments right here, right? Because this is for you, right? Every builder whose family is the loudest opposition just got the seating chart, right? Now let's break it down, right? Because your family watched you perform the role of a successful HR director for years. We're talking about 6-figure salary, right? We're talking about stability. We're talking about a title that translates into a sentence at every dinner party, right? They did not fall in love with you in that role. They fell in love with you because of the safety that role provided. When you left, you removed the safety from their front row view. Their opposition is not about you. It is about the discomfort of watching someone they love take a risk they cannot control. Hey, Diego, I need you to pay attention, bro. I need you to pay attention. I know you're making minimum wage right now. I need you to pay attention, man. We're gonna help. We're gonna help you up, bro. We're gonna help you up, right? Listen, the breakdown, right? The breakdown. Stop trying to convert them in real time, right? Conversion happens through evidence, not explanation. Every time you sit at the table and defend a decision you made 14 months ago, you are calling the court into session. Stop calling the court, right? Stop calling the court. I need you to change the information flow. You do not owe them a monthly update on the build. You owe them the relationship. The relationship and the business are separate, right? Keep it separate. Keep them separate, right? Release the expectation that they will understand before the evidence is visible, right? I need you to build your front row from people who understand the risk you are inside of right now. I need you to talk to some other consultants that are in transition. I need you to talk to business owners in the next 18 months ahead of where you are, right? I need you to see people who paid to be in the room, not people who got the seat by proximity, right? Like my man Diego. He's sitting here because he's sitting there in proximity, right? That's all he has, right? That's why he's on here doing what he's doing. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining us, right? 14 months. 14 months in is the construction phase, right? Everything looks unfinished because it is. Your family sees the lumber on the ground. They see the slab. They see the construction. They see the rebar. They do not see the blueprint. They don't see the vision. Stop showing people the lumber. Show them the finished room. Show them the lobby, right? Show them the lobby, right? Look, you can only build your way there. Stop holding court. Start laying bricks, right? Motivators, drop a house emoji right now if somebody you love is sitting in the wrong seat. Sitting in the wrong seat, right? Drop the house emoji, right? Now, next up is Jerome K, right? Jerome K. He's part of the smarts community, right? And he says, I'm the smartest person in the room and I'm still broke. That sounds familiar. I think we had one of those on the last town hall, right? Everybody's the smartest person in the room, right? Jerome, he has a PhD in economics. Oh, that dude, he's smart. He's smart. He's a published researcher. He's a department advisor. And he's only making this, well, he's making $67,000 a year, right? Be grateful, Jerome. Be grateful, my man, right? And Jerome asked me to find a fatal flaw tonight. And I found it in the first sentence of his confession, right? And here it is, right? So here we are. Chair number 3, Jerome K, 44 years old, PhD in economics, published researcher, university department advisor, makes $67,000 a year. Submitted his confession on Thursday at 2:15 a.m., right? And I guess what? I was up. Believe it or not, I was up, right? Reading your emails. Jerome's confession is here, right? He says, I am literally the smartest person in every room I walk into, and I'm still broke. There has to be a fatal flaw somewhere. I need you to find it. Well, I'm no expert, but I'm going to do what I can, right? Number 1, go get Go Time, All Aboard the Fired Up Train, my first book. Go get that, right? Use that as a reference and a resource to help you out, right? Go get Go Time, All Aboard the Fired Up Train. That's number 1, Jerome. I see you. I see you in the building. Okay. Jerome, you asked me to find a fatal flaw. That is the most academically honest thing you have said in this email that I read, right? And here's something for you, right? Here's the verdict. Intelligence optimized for validation will always outperform intelligence optimized for income. There are dumb people making a lot of money, Jerome. Hella dumb people making a lot of money, right? Intelligence doesn't equate to income, right? Look, man, you built the machine for being right. not a machine for being paid. There's a difference. And they're not the same machine, right? Look, I need you also to find your segment on YouTube and screenshot your segment, right? And keep it on replay. Save it, right? Every credentialed, talented, undercompensated person in this audience just had the algorithm name, right? Now, let's get into the breakdown. Look, your PhD trains you to optimize for peer review, published work, citation, departmental respect. You became an elite at the game you were trained to play. The income game is a different game entirely, right? The income game rewards the ability to solve a problem for someone who has money and is willing to pay for the solution. It does not require peer review. It does not require citation. It requires translating your value into language someone with a budget understands, right? You've spent 20 years becoming the most credentialed translator in the room where nobody is paying for the translation, right? Listen, Jerome. The arc for build move is right here, right? Listen, sir. I see you. You identified the 3 most expensive problems your economic expertise can solve outside of academia. Not the most intellectually interesting problems, the most expensive ones. Expensive problems have buyers. Go find your buyers, right? Interesting problems have audiences. Audiences do not pay salaries. Buyers do, right? Buyers do. Then, while you're looking, you found you build one offer, right? Not a course. You know how to build. You know how to make an offer, right? You have a PhD. Not a consulting package with 7 tiers, but one specific offer that solves one expensive problem for one type of buyer at a price point that reflects the expertise you actually have. Let the starting rate go at 5K. Test it, adjust it, right? You're not broke because you're not smart. You're broke because you've been performing intelligence for an audience that pays in applauses instead of dollars. Your move, and it's the smartest move. The smartest move you've made in years is sitting in this chair tonight and asking for the verdict instead of defending the credential. Listen, man, the offer tells the market where and what you are worth. You've been talking to the wrong room. Go find your room, brother. Go find your room. Smarts, drop a degree emoji if the credential has been cashing the wrong check, right? I know a lot of you out there, right? I know a lot of you out there like that, right? Next up, man. Next up in the next chair. We're talking about chair number 4. Her name, we're going to call her name is Patricia L. She's part of the motivators community, right? And she is saying in her email, which is interesting, I forgave everyone except for myself. A lot of people have done that, right? Hey, Diego, man, we forgive you. We forgive you, bro, right? We forgive you, right? And Jesus loves you, man. Jesus loves you, right? Patricia, she says she has forgiven her ex-husband. She has forgiven the business partner who robbed her. She has forgiven the mentor who abandoned her. The one person in the room still on trial is her, right? Patricia, she's 49 years old. She's a business owner, survivor of a failed marriage, a fraudulent partnership, and a public humiliation she cannot stop replaying. She submitted her question on Monday at 6:42 a.m. before the rest of the world even woke up. Well, guess what, Patricia? I was up. Here we are. I was up. Here we are, right? And here's Patricia's confession, right? I have forgiven everyone who hurt me. I made peace with all of it. But I cannot forgive myself for letting it happen. Patricia, you've been too hard on yourself, right? How do I get out of my own courtroom? Is Patricia in the building? Patricia, you in the building? Oh, I see you. I see you. I see you. Okay. All right. Patricia's in the building. Okay, Patricia, here we go. Right? You asked for it. Patricia, you've been running a trial with no defense attorney, a biased judge, and a jury that was selected from your worst memories. That court is not legitimate, Patricia. It never was legitimate. And here's the verdict why, right? Because forgiving others without forgiving yourself is not spiritual maturity. It is just relocation. You moved the punishment from them to you and called it healing. That is definitely not healing, right? That, my friends, is reassignment, right? I need you to find your segment on this episode and screenshot, record, do whatever you have to do so you can keep it on replay, right? Because every person in this room has forgiven everyone except the face in the mirror that just got the verdict. And here's the breakdown, right? Here's the breakdown. Here is what self-prosecution is actually protecting, right? If you are still guilty, the event still made sense. If it was your fault, then the world is still a place where good decisions prevent bad outcomes. Your brain is holding you guilty because it was more comfortable to be guilty than to accept that you made reasonable decisions and got hurt anyway. That's the real terror. No guilt, but randomness. The possibility that you did nothing wrong and it still happened. Patricia? Yes, I know. Here's your move. You write the defense. Like literally. I need you to sit down and write the strongest possible defense of every decision you ever made, right? Not the outcome, the decision, based on the information you had at the time you made it. Then you read it in a room when someone you trust is sitting along with. Don't read it alone. Right? The self-prosecution happened in private. The acquittal has to happen in public, right? And the second move, you set a statute of limitations on the trial. Let's talk today. You name the date the courtroom closes. You do not have to be done processing. You just have to close the court, right? Forgiveness of self is not absolution. It is a decision to stop prosecuting a case that was never going to produce a direct or different verdict, right? Listen, this court is adjourned, right? This court is adjourned. Patricia, and you are free. Go hold court, man. Go hold court, right? Listen, self-punishment is not a penance. It is procrastination. You're not staying guilty to make it right. You're staying guilty to avoid moving. Motivators, drop the tables right now. Drop the table emojis right now, right? If you've been your own toughest prosecutor, right? Do that, right? So, next up, thank you, Patricia. Next up, this is David R. He comes from the Warriors community, right? And David says, oh man, I remember this one. Ooh. David says, I'm sober, but I am not free. Well, David, thank you for sharing. Thank you for being a part of the show. And I see you with your hand raised. Thank you. Right? David says, he's been 4 years clean, 0 substances, 0 relapses. And David says the prison is actually bigger now than it was when he was using. What does sobriety look like when the cage is invisible? Well, David, we're going to talk about it, right? With the short time I have. And look, man, I'm not soliciting advice. I'm just offering some information that may help, right? That's all I'm doing, right? Offering information that may help, right? David R, who's 36 years old. He's in 4 years in recovery. He has a steady job, stable housing, no relapses. He submitted his question Tuesday after therapy session where he could not explain why he still feels trapped, right? And here's David's confession, right? David says, I got sober. I did everything right. And I've been clean for 4 years, but I do not feel free. I feel like I traded one prison for a quieter one. How do I find actual freedom inside sobriety? David, Your therapist cannot name the cage because the cage does not show up in clinical language. But it shows up tonight, and it shows up right here in this chair. So let's get into it, right? And here's your verdict. Because sobriety removes the substance. It does not remove the architecture the substance was built to manage. You stop the medication. You did not fix what the medication was treating. The quiet prison is the original wound, right? And I need you to go find your segment on this episode too, man. Screenshot and record it so you can keep it on replay, right? Because every person in recovery who has hit years of clean time and still does not feel free just got the diagnosis, right? And here's your breakdown, right? Listen, the substance was never the problem. The substance was never the problem. The substance was the solution to a problem that existed before the substance did. 4 years cleaned means 4 years of living with the original problem, unmanaged and unnamed, in a room with no chemical buffer between you and it. The freedom you are looking for is not on the other side of sobriety. It is on the other side of the original wound. Look, man, David, this is Arc 4, and this is how we build, right? I need you to go back to the beginning. I need you to sit into a quiet room by yourself, and I need you to meditate. Go back to the beginning, right? Not of the beginning of the addiction. We're talking about before it. We're going to go back to the problem, the original problem. And you ask the honest question about what the substance was managing in year one. Answer it. What feeling, what environment, what relationship dynamic, what internal condition was so unbearable that a chemical became the architecture around it? Then you build a new architecture, not around the wound, but through it, right? This is where therapy moves from maintenance to evacuation. If your current therapist is doing maintenance and you need evacuation, you need a different therapist or an additional one, right? You are 4 years clean. Congratulations. And that's not a small thing. That is the foundation. Now it's time to build the actual house on top of it, right? It's time to build, David, right? Freedom is not the absence of substance. Freedom is the presence of a life built on something that substance was trying to replace. I need you to go find what it was trying to replace and build that instead, my man. That's what I need you to do, David. Appreciate you for sharing. Thank you, thank you, thank you, right? Look, getting clean, like I said, man, getting clean is the evacuation permit. It is not the build. Most people in recovery stop at the permit and wonder why there's no house. Warriors, I need you to drop a house emoji if freedom has felt further away than the addiction ever was. If that resonates with you, right? I need you to do that. Thank you, Dave, for sharing. All right, next up, we have Keisha B, right? She's part of the Smarts community, right? She says, I built the brand, but not the money. Yeah, I get that. I get it, right? Keisha B has 200,000 followers. She has a verified account. She has brand deals she's turned down because the contact or the contract language is bad, right? And Keisha cannot make rent this month. What is a platform worth when the cash register is broken? That's her question, right? So, Keisha B, she's 31 years old. She's a content creator and brand strategist, 200,000 followers, across multiple platforms. Monetization is inconsistent. She submitted her question on a Friday after declining a deal that did not honor her terms. Thank you for submitting, Keisha. We appreciate you. All right. And here's her confession, right? Keisha says, I got the audience. I have the credibility. I have the brand, but the money is not matching any of it. How do I convert what I built into what I actually need? Okay, Keisha. All right. Let's get into it. All right. Keisha. The gap between your platform and your income is not a marketing problem. It is a structural problem. And it is one specific structural problem. And here's your verdict, right? Because an audience that watches you is not an audience that buys from you. You have to build a media asset and call it a business. A business has a revenue architecture. A media asset has a distribution architecture, right? You are missing the revenue half, right? It's time to go build, right? And I need you to go find your episode in this segment on YouTube, like all the others, and record it so you can have it on replay, right? Because every creator with a real following and an inconsistent bank account just got the diagnosis, right? And here's the breakdown. Because 200,000 followers is real leverage. The problem is leverage requires a fulcrum. Your fulcrum is the monetization structure. And right now, you are operating with brand deals as your primary revenue channel. But brand deals are the most volatile, most dependent, most relationship fragile form of creator income that exists. I need you to have an algorithm shift. Just one, right? One controversial post, one brand that pivots its strategy, and the deal stops, right? You need 3 revenue channels that you own, not channels that are dependent on whether a brand approves you this quarter or not, right? And I got some options for you, right? I got some options for you. Channel number 1, let's do a direct offer to your audience, right? Something they pay you for directly without a brand in the middle, like a book, like Go Time, All Aboard the Fired Up Train, right? Shameless plug, right? Shameless plug drop, right? Get yourself a digital product, a book, a membership, consulting, something with a price, a sales page, and a direct payment mechanism, right? Get to those paywalls. Channel number 2, a licensing or partnership structure where your brand strategy expertise is the product and the companies pay for access to your brain rather than your platform, right? And then channel number 3, a back catalog revenue engine, content that earns without requiring your active presence. Maybe it is a course, maybe it's a template pack, maybe it's a evergreen digital offer or something, right? The brand deals become channel 4, the bonus, not the foundation, right? You did not build the wrong thing, Keisha. You didn't build the wrong thing. You built the right thing with no floor under it, right? It's time to put the floor in, right? Because listen, at the end of the day, an audience is not a business. An audience is the raw material. The business is the architecture you build to convert the attention into outcome or income, I should say, right? Smarts, drop the money bag if the platform is real, but the revenue architecture is missing. I know a lot of you are going through that right now, man. I see a lot of those emails. All right. Everybody's concerned about the money. They got the following, the platform, but no money. I get it. Now, thank you, Keisha, for sharing. Right. Next up, we have Camille D. She's part of the motivators community, right? She said, I built everybody else. A lot of motivators do, right? And here is Camille, right? Camille says she has 87 clients, active clients. One of them just closed on a $200,000 contract from a session Camille ran this week. Well, congratulations. Camille could not afford her own therapy appointment that same day. The best builder in the room has no contractor on her own job site. Well, thank you for sharing, Camille. Camille D, she's young, man, 28 years old. Thank you for sharing. She's a coach and a mentor. Great. That's great stuff, man. Great stuff. She has 87 active clients, and she sent her question in on Monday at 9:11 p.m. after the client closed on a $200,000 contract, and she could not even afford her therapy appointment that week, right? And here's Camille's confession. She says, I help everybody else win. My own life is in pieces. Why am I better at other people's bills than my own? Well, Camille, that verdict, or this verdict, I should say, is going to land in the part of you that has been protecting the answer for years, right? And here's your verdict. You cannot be the architect on someone else's house and the demolition crew on your own and call that ministry. That is martyrdom. Stop confusing them, right? I need you to go find your segment on this episode and save it, right? So you can keep it on replay. And this right here is for every coach, every mentor, every healer, every therapist, every advisor, and every pastor who's watching, right? Here's the breakdown. Camille, there are two reasons you are better at your clients' bills than your own. Reason number one is the distance. When you work on a client's bill, you have professional distance. You can see the structural problems. You can see the load bearing decisions. You can see the wiring underneath the drywall. You have no distance from your own life. You are inside the structure. You cannot see the walls because you are leaning on them. And here's reason number two, right? Reason number two is the permission. Your client gave you permission to be honest. They paid for it. They signed up for it. You, yes, you, Camille. You have not given yourself that permission. You are not paying. You aren't a paying client. All right. You are not a paying client. All right. Of yourself, anyway. And that's not a character flaw. That is a structural problem. And it can be solved very easily, right? The solve. Here it is. Camille, you need to hire your own coach. And you already know this, right? We talked about this. Not somebody cheaper than you, right? Somebody more expensive than you. You don't have to pay the cost to be the boss. The premium creates the distance and the permission at the same time. Then you cut the roster in half and double the price per client. Use the recovered hours on your own on your own build, right? Watch what happens to both client outcomes in your own structure inside of 90 days. You're not failing at life. You are failing at boundary architecture inside a service-based identity that was never designed to hold this much input without an output channel. Open the output channel, pay the coach, cut the roster, build the wall. The architect deserves a house too, right? Look, the helper who would not be helped is not humble. They are hiding. You cannot pour from a vessel you refuse to fill. Motivators? Motivators? Where my motivators at? Where are my motivators, right? Drop a laptop emoji if you've been building everybody else's house, right? Drop a laptop emoji. Now, thank you, Camille. Appreciate you. Man, next up, oh man, we got a veteran. Woo, we got a warrior. Here we go. We got specialist Aisha M. That's what we're gonna call her. She's part of the Warriors community, right? And she says the war was waiting right here. A lot of my veterans' letters and emails that I see have the similar tone, right? And Aisha says this. Aisha served. She survived. She came home. And 9 months after ETS, Specialist Aisha M says the real war is the one nobody gave her a briefing for, right? Tonight she gets the brief. It's going to be short, but here it is. Specialist Aisha M, 27 years old, recent Army veteran, ETS 9 months ago. And she sent her question on a Tuesday afternoon after a job interview that ended badly, right? Here's Aisha's confession. Aisha says, I served. I came home. Nobody told me the real war was waiting for me there. How do I build through a war I do not have words for, right? That's Aisha's confession. Thank you for sharing, Aisha. Aisha, she's a specialist. She was part of the E4 Mafia, right? E4 Mafia. We love you guys, right? I've been waiting to answer a question like this from a junior enlisted vet for years. So I'm going to give you the version I wish somebody had given me when I came back from OEF 3, OEF 4, right? And here's the verdict. The war did not follow you home. The war was always at home. You just left to learn how to survive it. I need you to go find your episode and your segment on this particular episode and record it so you can have it on replay, right? because this one is for every young vet in transition watching tonight, right? Watching tonight. And here's the truth, Aisha. The military taught you how to function inside a system that where rules were explicit. The chain of command was visible, the mission was named, and the threats were identified. Then you ETS'd, right? Now you are in a civilian system where the rules are hidden. The chain of command is invisible, the mission is unidentified, and the threats are unidentified. Right? That is the war. Yes, you do not have words for it because it does not have a name. It is the war against unstructured ambiguity, right? The war against systems that pretend to be merit-based and run on networks you were never invited to. The war against employers who put veteran friendly on the posting and have no idea what a veteran actually brings. That is the war. It is real, and you are not crazy. You, Aisha, are accurate, right? Now, there's a couple moves for you, right? I need you to go out here and find your people, right? It's something I tell my vets all the time. Go find your people, right? Go find other young vets, especially women vets within 24 months of ETS. There's Team Red, White, and Blue. There's mission communities. There's bunker labs. If you're entrepreneur curious, get into a room with other transitioners weekly. Isolation is what makes the war unwinnable, right? And then there's move number 2. Use your benefits aggressively. VA healthcare, VA mental health, GI Bill, VRNE, right? The country veteran service officer is free. Give them a call, right? And then move number 3. Translate your military skill set into civilian language. Project management, logistics, security, operations, training, right? The skills took 4 years to earn. Most civilians cannot replicate them in 10. The translation is what gets in the way. Fix the translation, right? And then there's move number 4. Find one veteran 10 years ahead of you who survived the transition. Buy them some coffee, have a conversation, and be ready to listen, right? Look, you served, you came home, and you're still building, and that is the warrior arc, right? The transition does not fail veterans. Broken systems fail veterans. You are not responding poorly. You are responding accurately to something that was designed without you in mind. Warriors, drop a metal emoji for Aisha, right? If Aisha spoke to you tonight. Thank you for sharing, Aisha. Appreciate you, right? Keep charging on. Keep marching on, soldier, right? Next up is Amani. Amani R. She's part of the Smarts community. We got 8 minutes left. I don't know if I'm going to get through all of them, but wherever we stop, we're going to pick back up on the next town hall, right? So let me give you guys that disclaimer, right? We got Amani R, right? She's Smarts. Amani says she was promoted out of my gift. We're going to see what that means, right? So, after another promotion offer landed on Amani's desk Sunday morning, operations director at a healthcare tech company. Every promotion moves her further from the work that actually lights her up. How do you escape a ladder that keeps rewarding you for climbing the wrong building? Ooh, boy. Amani, that is a great question. Oh, man, that was fire. Let me tell you, Amani R is 32 years old. I said she's super smart. Operations director at a healthcare tech company sent out her question on Sunday morning after receiving a promotion that would move her further from the work she actually loves. And here's Amani's confession, right? She says, I keep getting promoted into positions where I cannot use my actual gift. How do I escape the upward mobility? Well, a lot of people wish they had your problem. Let's start there, right? Amani, this is the question every high performer in corporate America asks at exactly your stage, and almost nobody answers it honestly. I see you in the building, Amani. Thank you for sharing. All right. And here's your verdict. You are getting promoted out of your gift because the system needs your output, but does not know how to use your genius. Stop applying for jobs. Start designing them, right? I need you also to go find this segment, record, keep on replay, right? Because this one is for every high performer being converted into management against their actual calling, right? And here's your breakdown. Look, man. Look, corporate ladders are not designed for genius. They are designed for replication. The ladder that identifies high performers and moves them into positions where the high performance gets converted into the management of other people who produce the performance instead. Been there, done that. Listen, the promotion is not the reward. The promotion is a conversation or a conversion, I should say, right? Your gift goes dormant. The output continues. The system wins, you lose, right? Genius and management are not on the same verdict, on the same ladder, right? You are on parallel tracks. Almost no company is built to recognize that. You have two real choices, right? Choice number one, stay in the system and design a road that does not exist yet. Write the job description for the road that lets you use your gift inside the company. Propose it to leadership as a strategic investment. Show what the gift would produce if it were unlocked instead of converted, right? Plan for three outcomes: yes, no, or the door. Sometimes we get the door, right? Be ready for all three. Choice number two, leave the system and to build the role yourself. Lead the system entirely, right? Take your gift to a marketplace that can use it directly without the conversion mechanism in the way, right? The transition takes 12 to 18 months minimum. The runway has to be real before you move, right? Either way, the promotion in front of you is not the answer. My recommendation, decline it gracefully. You're not going to be happy. And then you're going to be out of it in 6 months anyway, right? Buy yourself 6 months time to figure out which choice fits your actual situation. I read your email and I felt the energy, right? I felt that energy, man. You have compassion, right? I feel it. Chase your dreams. Stop the conversion. Start the design, right? Look, the system promotes you because promotion is the only reward it knows how to give. That does not make the promotion the right destination. The ladder isn't broken. You're just on the wrong building, right? It's time to find your own building, right? Smarts, drop a hashtag emoji if you have been promoted out of your gift, man. Let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it. How much time we got left? We got, oh boy, we got 3 minutes left. All right. We got 3 minutes left. So, let me see who was next. Who was next? Oh, Boomer in. Let's see, Boomer in. This is where we're going to leave off at. Boomer in. All right, that's a Boomer in, like Boomer Sons. I think I had somebody else on here named Boomer. Is Boomer a popular name? That's interesting. I guess it is. I think somebody else was on here named Boomer as well. Boomer, we're gonna pick back up on the next town hall, man. We're gonna get you on the next town hall. I do apologize, man. We only got an hour, man. I only have an hour to get into it, right? So, Boomer in, you're gonna be our placeholder for the next town hall, man. We're gonna start with you, right? We're gonna start with you on the next town hall, man. So, and look, I will shoot you an email to let you know when the next town hall is. So, I'm gonna keep you abreast, man. I'm gonna keep you abreast, right? So let's get into the close, right? We have a couple minutes. Look, every chair tonight that we were able to get to had one thing in common, not the real problem, the position. Every single person was standing at the same crossroads with a different set of clothes on, right? The rebirth is not a season theme, it is a structural condition. You do not arrive at the rebirth by decision. You arrive at the rebirth because everything that was not real has collapsed, and what is left is either the truth or debris, right? Every chair that we were able to get to was at that point. Mark is rebuilding the blueprint at attempt number 4. Denise building without the family's approval. Jerome translating credentials into cash for the first time. Patricia closing the courtroom. David building the house that sobriety was supposed to be. Keisha building the revenue floor under the platform. Camille opening the output channel. Aisha mapping the civilian war. Armani designing the road instead of climbing the ladder. And Boomer, you're up next. You're up next, right? Every single one of those is a rebirth, not because they hit rock bottom, but because they are choosing to build something real on the other side of something false. That is what construction arc is all about, right? That's what the construction arc is all about. You, yes, you are building a business or a brand or a life. You are building the real version of a thing that used to be pretend, right? The pretend version kept you safe. The real version is what you were born to produce. It's time to start producing, right? Final Boss community, final bosses who have been with this show since the early numbers, the motivators who needed the verdict tonight, the warriors who showed up in uniform and are still fighting in civilian clothes, the smarts who have the intelligence and the need for the architecture. This is your room. Every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. The chair is always open. The verdict is always honest. The build is always real. Look, for my vets community, I need you to take these notes, right? You got Military One Source, militaryonesource.mil. You have Team Red, White, and Blue, teamrwb.org. The mission continues, missioncontinues.org. Bunker Labs, bunkerlabs.org. VA benefits, va.gov, right? County Veteran Service Officer, find yours at nacvso.org. For more info, go to ESOP at nceo.org. There are recovery sources out there if you need recovery, if you've been struggling with abuse from substances. And one of those recovery resources are samhsa.gov #find-help, right? Listen, the rebirth is not a comeback. A comeback implies you lost. The rebirth is the reveal. You've never gone. You were just building in a room nobody had access to, right? Now, as we close, and there's something I want to tell you guys before we close tonight, right? I need to give you the state of the construction, right? Because the arc does not just give or live in this episode. The arc is the actual build happening in real time. Season 4 arc for the construction. We are inside of it. It ends next week, right? And here's what the construction looks like from this chair right now in the present, right? The Fighter Boss podcast is not just a podcast. It is a doctoral level research platform, a community intelligence operation, and a legacy asset being built in one public forum, one Thursday at a time, 5 days a week, right? What you hear every week is not performance. It is the product of a build that started years ago and is accelerating into its most consequential phase. The merge is live and being built in real time. The doctoral work is active. The IP catalog is expanding. The sovereignty stack is compelling, and season 5 is on the horizon. I will not preview what season 5 holds, but I will tell you it is what you're watching right now. This arc, the construction, the season is the foundation that everything after it stands on. You are not a passive audience. You are a witness to a build. The fact that you are here every week means you are part of the construction crew, whether you know it or not. The harvest is coming, my friends. The harvest is coming. And I'm not going to say more than that tonight, right? What I will say is this: every decision you watch made in this room tonight was a construction decision. Every verdict was a blueprint correction. Every chair was a load-bearing wall being installed, right? The house is going up. The foundation is solid. The weather is relevant. Oh, I should say irrelevant, rather, right? El Nino is on the way. We build into construction because the build does not wait for perfect conditions, right? Listen, a build that stops when the weather turns was never a real build. A build that continues when the weather turns is the only one worth finishing. Smarts, final bosses, motivators, warriors. $11 chairs, right? Well, we only got to 10. So it was one room. And this is the close, right? This is the close. You came in tonight carrying something. The chair was designed to name it, diagnose it, and hand you the move. That is all this show has ever been. Not motivation, not inspiration, not content, a verdict, a blueprint, a move. The final boss does not give you a feeling to chase. The final boss gives you an architecture to build. 11 people sat in a chair tonight. We got to 10. And every single one of them walked in with a confession and a silence and a question that they did not know how to finish. The chair finished it. That is what this room is for. To every motivator who needed the permission to stop running the trial, you are acquitted. It's time to build. To every warrior who's been fighting a war with no name, the brief has been delivered. It's time to move. To every smarts who's been playing the wrong game with a first-class mind, the table changed. It's time to sit at the new table. Sit at the right one, right? And to every final boss in the room who has been in the construction phase longer than it was supposed to take, the build is still standing, and that, my friends, is the verdict. I am the final boss. This has been the Final Boss Podcast. I am your host. This is Special Guest Thursday, Season 4, Arc for the Construction, episode number 267, Town Hall number 3. The chair is clear. The build continues. Y'all have a great one. This concludes tonight's show. But as always, right? There's a heavier pain that comes with discipline, but there's an even heavier pain that comes with regret. And if I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. That is our show, right? Look, I am here. We are here. Be balanced, be equal, be smart. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, everyone, for sending in your questions, your concerns, and your emails, man. Keep them coming. If you want to be a part of the town hall, man, send it to us at info@thefinalbosspodcast. Send it to us right now at info@thefinalbosspodcast.com. And if this show resonated with you, like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Don't be a gatekeeper. Like, share, subscribe to information, right? That's all I have. Too easy, too simple. Keep it the KISS method, man. If you don't know what the KISS method is, keep it simple, stupid, right? KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Y'all have a great night. Ha ha.